everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Sarah, and in today's video we are going to be fixing my yarn room. It's going to be a big chore, but I figured I'd take you all with me, even though it's a little embarrassing to show you the state of things now. We're just going to do this together. This is my wall of lights. My yarn wall. This is where I take all my photos. I'm sure most of you already know that. And then right next to that I have my desk, which is a little messy right now, but that doesn't really matter. Over here I have more yarn, very messy shelf over there, and then bins in the way. You can't see the shelf back there, but it's got burlap blanket on it. And then I have my fluffy yarn, baby bear, posh pearl, cozy cub, all those different yarn types. I have two more tubs here, acrylic yarn and more burlap blanket, and then my ugly yarn wall for my used skeins of Chanel yarn. And I have some yarn in that corner there, which is just annoying. Everything, as you can see, is a mess. This is like my shipping supplies and stuff, and this is like the yarn that I need to put in there, but I don't have enough space in there. It's just really messy. Next to that I have this chair, which this chair is the root of all my problems, and it has been in here for a while. I personally don't like it in here, and I haven't had the space to move it out, so I actually now have a place that I can put this in the rest of the house and give me my yarn space, because I need to put some more shelves up. At least for now, I'm going to put some shelves up, and I'm going to put the rest of my Sweet Snuggles Light or Chanel Home Slim collection, these three bins here, on those shelves, or at least attempt to. And that'll free up at least one more of these bins so that I can put more plushies in them rather than, so for over here, ignore that. Over here I have my other yarn wall shelf that I showed you in a previous video, and I have more plushies that need a plastic bin so that they look a little bit nicer. This is that yarn wall. I've got Naughty Pony on the top and then Sweet Snuggles Light and everything else underneath. This shelf will probably stay where it is, but I want to move these and get rid of them for now until we're closer to festival days when I need the cloth bins back out again. I would like to take all this yarn out of these bins and put it on a shelf. Like I said, I don't know if it'll fit or not, but I'm gonna attempt to do that. First step though is to move this chair. I have some spare shelves in the house that I'm going to kidnap and put in here. So we're gonna do that together. We can start kind of seeing where we're at after that. The chair is now pulled out, and I put the shelves in, and I fear I may have made a mistake because I still have these 4 boxes, which I'm not going to be able to empty, and then I have these boxes here. So now I'm not really sure what I'm going to do, because something, I don't know, I think I might put, what I did last year was I put my plushies in the attic. They did amazing up there. So I think once I empty the bins of the yarn and I fill them with plushies, I might take those up into the attic. It's really inconvenient because if somebody orders a plushie from me online, then I have to go into the attic, break out the bin, find the plushie, make sure it's all sealed back up again, and then ship it out. But I think at this point, that's the only way I'm going to get my yarn room looking halfway decent. I think I'm just gonna load this shelf up with yarn, try and empty these bins and fill them with the plushies first, and go from there. I also want to change the yarn on here, so adjust it a little bit so that it is a little bit more aesthetically pleasing color-wise. I'm just gonna see how this goes. A lot of the yarn I took off of this shelf to fit Naughty Pony, and that yarn didn't go in a bin again, it went in a bag, and it needs to go on a shelf as well. So we're gonna start with those bags first, and then go from there. I am loading up this bin with plushies, and I'm taking from my stack over here, but I'm filling up this bin. I filled up these 3 bins. This was the extra one I filled up. I think I might have to move that one. These are all my extra large plushies, and fill in all those cracks with smaller plushies. That way I can fit everything in 4 bins. I'm going to be listing some more plushies in my eBay shop if you haven't seen it already. I have listed quite a few. I think there's 40 up right now, 40 different plushies. So I'm going to be listing a few more, like this guy right here, this pink bunny. And I also have a purple teddy bear that's like this one I want to list. Just a few more things that I know have a harder time selling at festivals and things that take up a lot of space. I know a lot of you who are watching are crocheters, so you're not looking necessarily for plushies to purchase from me, but for the small few who maybe don't crochet and just watch my videos, there's plushies available. The other thing, back to the yarn, is this kind of precarious situation here with the yarn shelf. This is what it looks like. I have my warm tones, lighter colors, and then the cooler tones in the bottom. I didn't intend for the green to be on the bottom, but that's just how it worked out. And then I have all of the cakes on the top of the shelf. I honestly had a completely different vision in my brain when I was setting this up, but I am happy that the yarn is on a shelf. It's very easily accessible for me, so I can start crocheting. I also, let me show you, also emptied the black shelf except for Naughty Pony. I think I might remove this shelf actually and put the Naughty Pony somewhere else, but maybe I'll just put the gray things on top of the bin and put Naughty Pony somewhere else. They definitely deserve a spot somewhere on my shelves, but I also have to empty these drawers because I did fill them up, but we'll do that later. But I don't know, maybe I might keep the shelf here and put the other plastic bins, these plastic bins here. Maybe I'll put those over there next to the shelf and see what that looks like. I think these two can stay here. It's not pretty in any sense, but my goal is to try and empty that bin completely and this bin completely and use it on plushies, obviously. The acrylic yarn on hats, that yarn on plushies, snugglers specifically, empty those bins out, and then that'll give me more space to kind of condense the plastic tubs down until I need them again later for this yarn. That's the update for now. Alright, this is what it's gonna look like for a while, and I'm going to start market prepping very soon, and hopefully that will take care of a lot of the issues that I'm having. I mean, I'll just be trading one issue for another technically, because I'll use the yarn and the plushies will take up space, but at least the yarn will become a product that I can sell potentially online, most likely in person. But I actually think we're gonna get comfortable real quick, and I'm gonna talk to you for probably way too long and tell you all of my plans, or at least most of my plans, and just kind of get you all up to date on my market prep and all that. I just want to show you this crochet bunny real quick because otherwise it won't be featured, but look how cute she is. Okay, let's talk market prep. I am currently working with Naughty Pony, in case anyone's curious, but let's talk market prep. I'm trying this new angle here. It might be totally weird, who knows? For market prep, here's my plan. So if you've never seen one of my videos before, you should probably start with this one, which I may or may not have already said. Honestly, it's been a hot minute since I filmed the intro to this video, or technically like the first half of this video. I have a goal of going to one singular event once a year. It's a 3-day festival, and I actually plan to switch it up after this next year, but that is future me problem. I want to, at this one event, make $10,000 or more. Obviously more would be better, but my minimum is about $10,000, and I know that that sounds crazy, but I actually did have a good success this year, so if you haven't seen those videos, you might want to check out the results, if not the whole series. You can really watch any of them out of order. This is totally off subject, but if you notice me holding my hook weird, which I don't think you can really tell, but it is flaking on the back here. I'm gonna have to find my replacement one because that's gonna bug me forever. Back to the subject at hand. The one festival is a festival I went to this year. I'm gonna go to it again next year, hopefully get the same spot. We'll see. I do want to preface this by saying though that the event I'm going to, the booth fee is $400 for a 10 by 10 spot. So this is a very expensive event to go to. It draws in a lot of people, so the payout is worth it. And then you obviously have to pay sales tax too, but that's also besides the point. That is my goal with my business though. And then throughout the rest of the year, I make money online pretty much. And that's through all my pattern sales, YouTube ad revenue, a little bit on Instagram now. That is my plan. That's my goal. I try and sell a ton of inventory. I actually right now have a lot of inventory. Technically, I don't have a lot of inventory, but I do have a good portion of inventory. The goal is to sell a whole lot of inventory all at one event, and so far I have actually done that successfully. This year was very successful. Last year, not so much, but it was still fairly successful. It was mainly because my inventory wasn't where I wanted it to be. At the time, I didn't know where I wanted it to be or where it could be. So here's my goal for next year. Goal for next year is to get the same spot, hopefully. They were very, very nice. It gave me the same spot twice in a row, hoping the third time's the charm and I get the same spot again. It really is the perfect spot for me. It's a corner booth right by one of the entrances, so it works out really well for me. Once I get that booth, I hope to bring about 20,000 in inventory. Technically, I did that this year as well, but if we're being honest, the majority of that inventory is not the greatest. We have things that don't sell very well, such as blankets. That's not to say you can't have success selling blankets. It's just that for me personally, because I sell plushies, blankets are much harder for me to sell. This year, I want to bring at least 20,000, and this might be crazy, maybe even 30,000 in inventory. It would be crazy if I could accomplish that, but I actually do have more of a structure for both this series and my actual market prepping. So I'll get to that in just a second, but I figured I should lay out my goals first, especially for those of you who haven't seen my previous market vlogs. That's pretty much my business plan, is go to an event, sell the majority of my stuff at one event. It's a 3-day festival. I think I already said that, but very, very long hours. It's like 12 to 14 hours for 3 days straight, which is very, very tough, but it is worth it. Hopefully next year it will be even more worth it. The event is actually in April, so I'm gonna be prepping from now until April. Hopefully I can accomplish all that I want to get done before April. It is a long list of things that I want to work on. Eventually we will get there. That is my business plan. That's what I try and aim for. I know a lot of people go to events weekly or, you know, every other week, something like that, or even once a month. I'm sorry, I just got 2 factory knots in a row, and it's so annoying. Naughty Pony is very, very nice, don't get me wrong. I just got a really bad skein this time. And there's a lot of knots in this one. Traveling Pony Studios, if you are watching, please don't feel bad. Yarn, they have factory knots. It is what it is. Anyways, focusing again, hopefully, maybe, we'll see. That's my business plan. I think I've said business plan way too many times at this point, so let me tell you what my actual like video plans are and stuff like that. For this video, for this series, I plan to release it every other weekend, so every 2 weeks I will be releasing a video. This is exactly what I did last series, but I actually want to, let me count this first because I think I messed up. 8, 10, 12, yep, I did 13. I knew I put 3 single crochets in 1 stitch. Okay, we're back on track with the increases. What I was talking about was my video plans. So here's my plan. I think it's a great idea. Hopefully I don't get bored of it. But my plan is to actually every 2 weeks work on like a section of the things I want to finish. So for example, I'm actually going to be starting this next vlog, second episode. I'm going to be focusing on cows, and that is why I'm making a blue Cassidy the cow right now. This is me getting distracted again, but I had these blue eyes on hand from Sweet Beans Crochet. So I was like, oh, I can make a blue cow, which that's pretty much the only color I have on hand. I'm waiting on my orders from Sweet Beans Crochet and from Traveling Pony Studios. I think I already mentioned this, but I told them no rush, so I'm just waiting very, very patiently over here for my eyes. As patiently as a crocheter who has a new obsession can. Once I get those new eyes, I'm going to make some more giant plushies. But going back to my plans for the market vlog, I want to work on different sections for every video. So episode 2, we're gonna focus on cows, but I'm just gonna crochet cows of any type. I have a lot of patterns for cows, so it's a long list, but if I can finish in 2 weeks or even 4 weeks, I wouldn't be mad, and finish all the cows, including the Highland cows. And then next week I can do, for example, maybe elephants, I'm not sure. And then after that, you know, unicorns, etc, etc. I want to kind of just be a little bit less chaotic with my market vlogs, be slightly more planned, and we'll see how it goes. That's pretty much where I'm at. We will just see how that plays out, because I might be totally distracted. I'm working on my new snuggler line. The snuggler line, it's something that I have to take photos for, get tester calls and everything, which I'm gonna be honest with you all, I'm not doing any of that right this second because I have been stressed out. I have a lot of things that I need to do and run along with my personal life. If you watched my last vlog, you know that a lot of my appliances have been breaking down. Thankfully, it's so far only been 2, but just those things like that where it just kind of ruins your day. That's the kind of stuff I've been dealing with, and it is what it is. Life is life, but it definitely just makes me more tired and more stressed out, so it's hard to balance all of the things. I'm not really sure where I was going with this. I think I was just saying that I'm stressed out. Oh yeah, I'm not doing tester calls, that's what I was saying. I will not be doing tester calls for a while. I'm obviously not going to stop forever. The big thing is so many people apply, and I'm so incredibly grateful, but then I feel just so horrible not being able to pick everyone I want to pick, and even everyone who have applied multiple times, I can't pick everyone, so it just kind of hurts a little bit because I want to please so many people and I want to offer them the chance to test. I know that's something that people like doing. I get stressed out easily. I'm sure you all can tell. It's just hard. Life is hard. Running a business is hard. Anyone who runs a small business knows that there's a lot of things that make it hard. It is worth it, of course. It's hard, as I've already said a bunch of times. But going back to the actual market series, if you all have any questions about like the market preps, what I'm planning on doing with my business or with like the market side of my business, definitely let me know in the comments. I'm sure I forgot to answer some questions in this video. That is my business plan. That's the market vlogs plan. That is all of the plans. I hope this new angle is working with everyone. I know the lighting isn't the greatest. It's actually kind of dark right now. It's nighttime right now, so of course it's dark. But I really wanted to sit down and talk with you all. I decided this week that this is the only clip I'm going to be filming. I'll start the second episode of this series later. Stay tuned for episode 2. Like I said, I will be working on cows, so I hope you're all excited for that. I am definitely going to do a lot of Coopers and a lot of the Highland cow version of Coopers. I think I'll start there because I don't need any specialty eyes for that. Speaking of specialty eyes, I plan to make all my extra large plushies with specialty eyes from now on, unless it doesn't make sense for them. But I just think that it adds that extra touch, that extra flair to something that means that I can charge as much as I'm charging and I feel good about it. Or I still feel good about my prices, but feel even better about my prices. And I also think they are very attractive, so they're a great selling point. But that's my plan. That's why I'm waiting for all these specialty eyes to get here. I ordered 55 pairs. I will admit I ordered a lot. I actually think I want to order some specific colors soon-ish, depending on what I get from Sweet Beans Crochet and Traveling Pony Studios. I think I went off on a side tangent again about safety eyes, which if you're new here, I keep saying this, but if you're new here, that is what I do. I talk about all sorts of things. I actually end up cutting out a lot because I just talk about the dumbest things, and maybe they're not necessarily dumb, but they're just like hard to follow, so there's no point in me talking about it. I will admit that I'm a rambler. As you can tell, I've been talking. This is going to be edited down, but the raw footage, I've been talking for pretty much 16 minutes at this point. I can talk about crochet for a very long time and still have things to say, which is how I feel right now. I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. I just released Alice the Elephant, by the way. If you want to check out that tutorial, that's an actual tutorial. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching to the end of this video. I hope it cleared up some things, some questions you all might have. Like I said earlier, if you have questions, leave them in the comments below and I will answer them. I, like I already said, love talking about crochet and I will probably never shut up about it, so ask away and I will answer. This is actually the first time that I've done a episode like clearly stating what I want to do, and it only makes sense to make it the first episode of my market series or my new market series. So yeah, hopefully it helped, and like I said, thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. Thank you all so much for your support recently. I can't even begin to express how happy I feel that I'm here with you all, and I have such an amazing community behind me that supports me. It honestly just blows me away that there's so many nice people out there who also like to crochet. That is it I'm gonna stop talking now because I will talk forever and ever, as you already know. I will see you in episode 2 of my market series, which will come out a couple weeks after this one, or maybe 1 week, we'll see. But I will see you then. And in that video, I'll show you this finished cow. So I'm not leaving you hanging for too long. But that is it. I will see you around. Bye. I was going to leave you hanging, but I wanted to include this cow in the thumbnail, and that didn't feel right if I didn't show it to you finished. So here he is.